Hey, what's happening, Rangers? Welcome back to Power Rangers Battle for the Grid on KwingsLetsPlays.
Yeah!
It took a while, but finally we have some brand new characters. Jen from Time Force and Trey from Zeo. I see what you did there, Enway.
Yay!
Anyway, it's time for Gold Rush. So we're going to be playing as the Gold Rangers arcade mode. So like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified when more Power Rangers arrives on this channel. All right, so we've got traditional Gold Ranger color and then evil Gold Ranger.
Whoa!
Yay.
However, Luke is extremely excited about the Gold Ranger, but we can't pretend it's Jason because we can hear Trey's voice.
Well, we'll bring Jason in.
Yeah!
There we go. Bring Jason in, and we'll bring in.
You want to bring in the new Pink Ranger, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It's time for a Time Force!
And we'll go Dragon Zord.
Yeah!
Time for Time Force. All right, so out of the new characters, tell us the two that you're most excited for. Like, you prefer Gold Ranger or Pink Ranger, or are you guys excited for Lord Zed that's coming out at a later time?
Ooh.
Let us know.
So, who are you most excited for, Luke?
Gold Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have it be Trey than no one at all. I think I remember you having conversations like, hey, if they don't have Jason in as Gold Ranger, at least they can have Trey.
I kind of hate myself for saying that.
Like, why would you say that, Luke? Look at this.
Yeah, I know.
This is what happens from conversations like this.
I'm waiting for confirmation from the old team because I have to know like how long, because they were so cryptic. Like whenever we would talk about Gold Ranger, they would be like, "You're gonna love all the cool stuff that Gold Ranger can do." Like, we can't wait to see your reaction. This is before, you know, all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they never told me the identity of the Gold Ranger, and I was like,
well,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he looks cool. Gold Ranger looks awesome. This is one time when, like, I believe... Yeah, I thought... No, they had voice acting from the beginning with this game, didn't they?
No.
Oh, okay. No, they
Voice acting was a suggestion that our fan base had.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Along with Spark Damage, which Spark Damage is now in the game.
Which mostly is
See?
cool, but I'm saying, like, if they didn't have voice acting, we could just picture this person as Jason.
Oh yeah, you could just pretend it's... But no, this is Trey. You can tell, because Trey has a very...
He's polite.
Trey is polite. That's a nice way of saying it.
That's what you told me.
He also had, like, an alien voice.
Whoa!
Pyramidas!
You need a pyramid come.
Yeah, that's my Zord.
Whoa, your Zord is
Oh.
a giant pyramid? Awesome.
And Trey's gone already. So they also increased the difficulty for this latest update. So update out 1/3. And you guys also have the ability now to battle against your friends in kind of like a special lobby that's not connected to the game itself. You have to go through the N-way play thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
keep an eye out for that.
Interesting. So there is a friend thing going on.
Yes.
Friend lobby. Whoa, Jason wins. Big surprise.
Yep.
Victory.
Oh, they still don't add the victory lines in arcade. I thought they were going to do that, but be on the lookout, guys, because we will be doing Power Rangers Versus, where we're going to record a bunch of them today, and we'll have them up for about the next week. We got some great verses coming your way, such as Jason versus Trey. Yeah, okay, Alien Boy.
So what is up with his Gold Ranger staff thing? They both have that? Trey and Jason both?
Yeah, that's their weapon.
Oh, okay, cool. It's like a spear staffy.
It's a scepter. Because in Japan, this guy is known as the King Ranger.
Oh, that's...
He's from ancient Egypt. That's why he has pyramidas.
That makes sense why he has so much gold on him.
Mm-hmm. Although he's not really known as like a Gold Ranger in Japan. He's kind of like the Black Ranger for their team, but he's called the King Ranger, so...
Cool. And, what does Pyramidas actually do? Like...
Obliterate everything in its way.
Oh, okay, so it can just, like...
Sorry, obliterate.
Yeah, it's fine. So it can just like shoot everything down and just like demolish everything.
So, what I love about Enway Past and Present is I know that the old team was the one who was working on this guy. Trey, or rather Gold Ranger, is super show accurate. Check out what he can do with his Gold Rush when I don't get punched in the face. That's the signature move where he would run through people. That's his lightning attack. He has a high kick from the Legacy Warrior games.
Oh.
Scepter attack, just like the show. That was a finisher move. And of course, summoning Pyramidas, but I'm not summoning Pyramidas against Jason. That wouldn't be right.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh.
So,
I don't know.
In the show, Power Rangers Zeo, originally Billy was supposed to be the guy that they were going to pass on the powers to, but they were having problems with the actor, so they decided to bring in another actor to be, you know, that character, and they decided that Billy somehow, when there was an explosion at the command center, the powers fused into Billy, and it made it so that he can't take like Ranger powers anymore. His body rejects it.
Oh my gosh.
So he couldn't accept the powers of the Gold Ranger. Then they had to bring in another Ranger, and that was the fan favorite Jason. Now, Trey was a mysterious Ranger who came to help them fight the Machine Empire, and he never revealed his identity because if he did, then he would lose his powers because he's 3 people in one body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did he come before or after Jason was a Gold Ranger?
Before.
Oh, okay.
He had to transfer his powers to Jason. Now, the Gold Ranger powers are so strong, though, that it can actually kill a human for long-term use. So Jason, they did their own variation of the Tommy losing their powers thing, but they upped the ante. When Jason started to lose his powers, it was basically a terminal thing. Like,
oh, wow.
His mortal body was being destroyed by the golden power.
That's cool.
And it only lasted 1 episode.
Yeah, it was like, okay, my body's being destroyed. Then he had to leave, or...
No, he didn't leave. He kept fighting.
Oh my gosh. So he didn't keep complaining about it. He was just like, just FYI, I'm being destroyed.
Well, I mean, he was kind of going through an identity crisis. Even Rita and Zed appeared. I love this. I love Pyramidas.
Oh, I thought you were telling me before. Oh my god!
I know, it's not over yet. It's got another form.
No way. I have yet to see the final form.
Yeah, but Pyramidas needs to be a lot stronger than that. It's kind of weak.
Wow, so Pyramidas is wicked strong, then.
It's one of the strongest Zords of all time. It was also... Uh-oh. Cat Stunner is going to hurt. It's also one of the... It acted as a Zord carrier for all the Zeo Zords. Trey also kept bringing the Rangers, like, all these different new weapons and stuff, too, through Pyramidas and through the Golden Power. So Trey was actually a really cool 6th Ranger, and he never really left the show. He was kind of there in spirit. But Jason as the Gold Ranger was just better because he was a more powerful character, he was a leader. And Trey was kind of... How do I put this? Trey is a very jokey, kind of like arrogant character. You know, he comes from an alien world, he's super powerful, and he thinks that he can handle everything by himself.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, it does sound familiar.
He and Tommy got along pretty well.
Yeah, it sounds very much the same. Yeah.
And you guys are seeing spark damage now?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Jason's power sword.
Damage. Oh my gosh.
Spark damage.
So they added a lot of the spark damage for the weapons then.
But Pyramidas is his Zord, and it's one of the most powerful Zords of all time.
Yeah, Jason is more of a team person. He always works with teams. That's his main thing, is trying to make his team stronger.
Yeah, now Jason is actually coming back to the Power Rangers world because the Peace Conference is not what we all thought it was. Well,
what?
There's 2 different canons. There's the show canon, and then there's the comic book canon, which is going to be different. Like, the comic book canon, in one universe, Jason is not going to become the Gold Ranger. Trey will always be the Gold Ranger. So this Trey could be somebody who's never really shared his powers with Jason before, although the description for this character says he did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Time for a Time Force.
Oh, yeah. Amber's favorite stage.
Yeah, This is my favorite stage, Luke. You got it.
You're excited to play Power Rangers again. I can tell.
So much about me.
Oh, sweet.
Oh my gosh, her double swords are like, oh my gosh. Why does she even need a gun after all those swords?
She has all her stuff. That's her Chrono Saber. So
she's like basically, she has the weapons of both Kirito and Darth Maul going on. She got the double-sided sword there.
Yep.
Wow. So you were telling me something about like Jason is now now Jason, Trini, and Zach in the comics now. They ended up doing like an elite, becoming an elite squad of Power Rangers, like a Black Ops team or something.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people, I don't like what they're doing, but they're calling them Zordon's Angels. Because, you know, yeah. So Zordon...
They'd have to be all girls for that. No.
Yeah, Zordon sent these guys in the guise of like a peace conference. And the other Rangers don't know. Like Tommy and the replacement Rangers, nobody knows. Even the older veteran Rangers like Billy and Kim, they have no idea.
No, they're not Zordon's Angels. There's like Mission Impossible team.
Well, okay. You know how there was a battle for the grid? Like there was a problem where the grid was shattered. So Zordon basically sends these 3 Rangers with Jason as the leader to go investigate and repair the grid. So they go off-world and they go all over the place. And we don't know how long they actually stay as these Omega Rangers, but a lot of people are saying that the morphers that they wear are very similar to the SPD Omega Ranger from the future, so it's very possible that the Omega Rangers from the past, like the original Mighty Morphin team, they might have paved the way for the Omega Ranger from SPD, which just makes this whole big thing connected even more so. And you can picture Jason and company like being these elite characters.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I thought you said there was an interview with, because I remember hearing you talking about it years ago, an interview with Jason where he said, what would you ever want to do or something, or what would your character be doing? And he said, you know, I'd be out somewhere doing all this cool stuff, saving the world, but never taking credit for it.
Yep, that's what he said it. And then this guy, this new writer, basically took to heart what ASJ said years ago. Because, I mean, in Jason's defense, that's kind of what his character was supposed to do. Remember the whole Oxagon Rangers we talked, or Hexagon Rangers we talked about years ago? What was supposed to be the Power Rangers Ninja Storm? The original idea with the 2 opposing teams, Tommy's team and Jason's team.
Yeah.
Jason being off-grid and his team doing, like, stuff to help the little guy. Tommy's team being all flashy and out in the open and, you know, kind of like a Captain America Civil War type deal before that ever existed.
Yep.
So they took the same idea, minus the Civil War, and Jason has his team of Rangers that he commands, and Tommy commands the probably Zeo Rangers and maybe even the Turbo Rangers when Jason and all these other characters are doing this stuff. And they're going to be playing a big role in this new comic all this year. So I really hope we see an Omega Ranger in Battle for the Grid, because what my thinking is, the Battle for the Grid game, I've heard from, you know, back in the day with our, you know, Enway guys that aren't there anymore, that it's a lot easier for them to get the rights from the comics. And they really enjoy working with Boom Studios compared to, like, licensing a TV character. So what if Jason's Omega character ends up in this game as a playable character?
That would be awesome, and I feel like that needs to happen.
I think so, too. But there are also other characters from the comics, too, such as the Solar Rangers and all these new characters.
Well, I have to say, I mean, that's a great way to, like, honor, like, Trini's legacy, and also Walter Jones as, you know, the first Black Ranger.
He never came back to the show.
Who never came back to the show, and invented hip-hop keto and all that stuff, and, like, is a lot of people's favorite, you know, Ranger of all time. You know, a lot of people were super fans of Zach. Like, we were, obviously, and, you know, I feel like Trini, Zach, and Jason were super powerful Rangers and they just left the show. It wasn't really fair.
They went to a peace conference.
It really wasn't fair to be sent to the peace conference. So I feel like, you know, at least there's, you know, that kind of ends their pain.
Well, I mean, it opens up the so many story opportunities. Like, what have they been doing?
Yeah, it makes a whole different thing. Instead of it being kind of like a walk of shame, it's like awesome. It's like, oh, you thought this happened. Yeah.
Stand down now, Goldar. We're here to do away with your master's evil, but you can still save yourself. Oh, you're outnumbered, Ranger. Surrender or be destroyed. Then I will do what I must. Yeah, it kind of sounds like Brad Hawkins a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
And Brad Hawkins, if you guys didn't know, there were actually 5 actors that played the Gold Ranger. You had Brad Hawkins, the guy from VR Troopers, who originally was going to play Gold Ranger, and then they decided, no, we're going to bring back ASJ. And then they cast this 3 Trintuplets, I believe that's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they cast like this... Triplets, sorry. And they had this idea that they came from a race called Triforia, where in order for them to be super powerful, their 3 different parts, or 3 different individuals would form one unified body, one unified force, and it would make them unstoppable.
So they weren't all as strong as Jason. They were just strong combined.
Well, Jason actually was able to use all of Trey's powers right away.
Wow.
There was no training wheels. It was back to action and then boom.
I mean, that just shows, like, you know, that, I mean, because Jason had been the leader of the Power Rangers before. Not only of the Power Rangers, but of the original Power Rangers, so, yeah.
I actually have a theory why he was able to use the Gold Ranger powers without any problems.
Yeah.
He was one of the few Rangers that had command of 2 Ranger powers at the same time.
Oh, right. The Dragon Shield, or no?
Right. He had Tommy's power coin for several months.
Yeah.
So he was rocking 2 Ranger powers. It's not... People don't understand that it's not just that Jason had the Dragon Shield. When he had Tommy's power coin, he had access to all of Tommy's abilities.
Oh.
Dragon Sword, the Dragon Shield.
That's why he has the little, like...
Power dagger. Or not the power dagger.
There. Yeah.
The Dragon Dagger.
Yep.
He had all those things. So it was kind of like he was a Super Ranger. So when it came time for Zeo and to use the powers of the Gold Ranger, it wasn't really that much of a struggle for him, theoretically, because he was used to using 2 powers.
Oh.
So instead of using 2 powers, he was using 3 powers in one body.
Wow.
But it proved too much for his mortal body, because, you know, the human body is not an alien body.
Yeah.
Now I must deal with the true villain here, Lord Drakkon.
Whoa.
Yeah. But,
I'm learning so much about the Gold Ranger today.
Oh, Gold Ranger's awesome. He was such a cool character. He was very mysterious when he first appeared, and then Jason, of course, incorporated the Gold Ranger as a member of the Ranger team. And Trey's character would appear as kind of like, how do I put this? Think like the Lone Ranger. He would come in and help people out. He never worked with them as a team member, though, ever.
Yeah,
he
so
just kind of arrived and showed off.
That makes sense. That's a good way to say it, like the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Well, what's up with Pyramidas? Like, you said other Zords could fit inside of it?
All the Zeo Zords.
Whoa.
The Zeo Zords, the Super Zeo Zords. Pyramidas could also transform into a giant robot. It wasn't just like a carrier Zord.
Wait, are they gonna have that happen in the game?
Oh my gosh, I'm so hoping that they do more Megazord summons. I would love Pyramidas in its, or Warrior Wheel. Warrior Wheel is another of Jason's Zords as the Gold Ranger.
Oh, okay. Pyramidas as a Megazord. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Pyramidas is an amazing
Zord. It had
Zord.
other forms too. Wow.
Well, it had the Pyramid form, it had the Carrier form, it had the Megazord form.
No
but
way.
Most of the time, you didn't see Jason using Pyramidas as often. How they did it in the show, blast, is more or less...
No.
They said that Triforia, or Trey, had to go back to his home planet. So, of course, Pyramidas came with him.
Oh, yeah.
So Jason, for the time being, was left without a Zord. And then Trey came back to Earth and he was like, well, I need Pyramidas in order to help restore my powers. Eventually he caves in and he just gives Jason the, you know,
Yeah.
The Pure Midas, but he doesn't leave Jason empty-handed. He gives the Rangers the Super Zeo Zords, and I might be talking about this out of order because I haven't seen Power Rangers Zeo in probably 20 years. I watch clips every once in a while, but I haven't actually sat through the show since I was in college.
So Trey and Jason actually talk to each other then?
I think Trey had a type of telepathy that was connected to the golden power. I don't know, though.
Whoa. But they appeared in the same episode, at least. Like, communicated somehow?
Yeah, once in a while they appeared. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But did he get his powers from...
He got his powers from Trey's 3 forms.
Okay. There you go. Alright. That's all I needed to know.
Yep. 3 forms create Gold Ranger.
That's like... The Pure Midas, when I saw that move in this game where all the lightning comes down from the sky, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying, but I'm noticing in this game it's not as strong as it was in the show. Like, when Pure Midas was summoned, and Gold Ranger would essentially, you know, do the Tommy comparison where the Ranger is outside of his Zord and the Zord is kicking butt. So Tommy would call the Dragon Zord using his flute. Jason would just say Pure Midas, and Pure Midas would come. He wouldn't have to... you know, play the flute to summon Godzilla, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's who the Dragon Zord was inspired after, is Godzilla. A variant of him.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Because Godzilla comes out of the water, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's where they got that from. So, Jason would just say, you know, I summoned the might of Pure Midas, and Pure Midas would come, and then he would point his scepter at the enemy, and lightning would streak down from the sky. And it would obliterate everything in its path. That's how strong it was. In this game, it doesn't really do that. It's still awesome, but it doesn't do that. Look what I have here, a shiny Gold Ranger. I look forward to taking your powers for my own.
That's what you think, Tommy, evil Tommy.
Lord Drakkon, are you ready to face the consequences of your actions? See, he's a nerd.
Yeah.
The only consequences here will be your destruction, Ranger. Yeah, so you can see... I love that.
Yes! Academy Award. Good job.
Ow.
Tommy is rocking it in this game.
I love evil Tommy in this game.
Especially as Lord Drakkon. It's like, wow. He's doing such a fantastic job. And in the movie scenes, the cutscenes. Wow. I have to say, though, Ranger Pink is no joke in this game. She's terrifying. I mean, for the Time Force Pink Ranger.
Jen?
Yeah, Jen. I would not want to be up against her with her double swords and then her giant, like, bazooka gun or whatever she has. It's crazy. She's scary.
So, as you can see, like, all of Gold Ranger's moves are straight from the show. And they were all different finishing moves that Jason had.
That's cool with the where he does the scepter and then it has the gold orb that goes at you. I like it. His moves look very like he's some kind of Egyptian magician or something. Which he is supposedly from Egypt or originally in the Sentai or something.
Who's a magician?
Or not a magician, but like a king.
Yeah, he's an ancient king from...
But he'd probably have magic powers anyway.
He had all kinds of powers. I mean, you know... But he never really worked with his Ranger team in Super Sentai either. So, what made Jason coming back to the show different too is how they incorporated what they were going to do with Gold Ranger. So, one of the things they did with Gold Ranger... Okay, that was cool. Gold Ranger and Jason working together.
Yeah.
But that didn't pan out the way I wanted. So we saw Jason as the leader in Mighty Morphin, the big brother guy. And, you know, when he came back from the, quote, peace conference, not secret Black Ops training.
Yeah.
He kind of takes the second-in-command role from Adam of the Zeo Rangers. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't really work with the Rangers all that much.
Yeah.
Like, he comes in when they're struggling. You know, how Austin put it, he said, when the Rangers were getting their butts kicked, Gold Ranger would come in, save the day, do his flashy intro, get his song, his Zord show up, and then he'd go back to the juice bar and have something to drink. and be like, all right, guys, I dealt with the tough stuff. I'm leaving. So he says he wasn't really like trying to do the leadership role because he said Tommy got that covered. So he says, when I came back to the show, I got to do my own kind of like character change for Jason.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's cool. I mean, like, that's kind of what Tommy used to do, kinda.
Yeah, their roles reversed.
So yeah, they did. Their roles totally reversed.
The Rangers have courage, wisdom, and heart. You have none of those. So, yeah. Trey is a very, you know... I might have gotten this wrong, but his 3 personalities are Trey of Wisdom, Trey of Heart, and Trey of Power, I think. So it's kind of like a Triforce type deal.
A Trey Force.
So Jason gets all of these abilities.
Oh, okay.
You know, including the Gold Ranger powers. So he gets all this different stuff until one day that Trey of Triforia could come and reclaim the golden power.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which he did at the end of the series.
Oh, cool. So basically, he took the idea of what Trey was doing, but he made it his own in his Jason way.
Yeah, and he did do some leadership stuff when Tommy was kidnapped by the Machine Empire. Jason stepped up and took command of the Rangers for a couple episodes, you know, because it was like riding a bike. And it was really cool. But there you guys go. That is the Gold Ranger Trey of Triforia. Hope you guys had a lot of fun with this episode.
Yeah.
You can see, I don't remember if they had bios before, but there are bios.
They do now.
So you can see the original Zeo Gold Ranger, Trey, was an alien from the planet of Triforia who came to Earth to help the Zeo Rangers battle the Machine Empire. There he was, attacked and split into 3 separate beings, forcing him to temporarily transfer his golden powers for the remainder of Zeo season to veteran ranger Jason Scott.
Cool.
There you go. And he is the only Zeo Ranger that's in this game now, and he is a lot of fun to play. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for another arcade episode. We hope you guys had a blast and learned a lot about Zeo and all that fun stuff. Next time, we'll be looking at Jen Scott, so come back. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and check our playlist for all kinds of Power Rangers stuff. And keep an eye out for our Power Rangers Versus series, highlighting both these new characters for the next 2 weeks. It's going to be more phenomenal. Until then, Ranger Nation, God bless and happy gaming. The power will protect you, always. See ya!